I don't expect people to like every decision I make. That's why there's an appellate process. So you keep saying, I object, I object, I object. I don't care.
Welcome to Legal Affairs Network.
You got a motion filed?
Yeah, oh yes, absolutely. I actually had issues to discuss before I crossed.
But the court reporter needs to pick you up.
Here, you don't have to be at the podium, but at least have a seat at that table where that microphone is.
Threats, coercion, and I'm under duress. I'll cross.
You're under duress? How are you under duress?
Well, Your Honor, as stated in my motion, there's actually fraudulent word that was sent to me unsigned by a judge. I have lawsuits filed and all of this stuff right now, which I know that they received.
Hold on, brother, wait. I'm just asking you to have a seat at the chair where the microphone is.
Oh, I understand that. I'll do it. Okay. The front check.
That's fine. Just make sure you're talking to the microphone.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, you can sit down. Okay. So I think this is your motion to dismiss, right?
Yes, I have a few in there that I've been repeatedly trying to be dismissed.
Which one do you want to start with first?
Well, the recent one I filed, the motion to reject the swearing in and all that, based off the fact that, like I said, I was sent a default motion that I don't know how it even got sent out past it, but it was never signed or anything. I was also defaulted out the fact that there was a citation. I never even presented a court appearance.
Okay, hold on. You're giving me too many issues. You're talking about swearing in. You're talking about a default judgment. Just pick one issue. We're going to deal with them one at a time. So what do you want to deal with first?
Well, my main motion. Well, yeah, the default.
Okay, so was that on the civil infraction, failed to disclose the CPL?
I suppose that's what it was under, yes.
Okay, don't suppose, it's your motion, brother. Tell me what it is.
Well, it keeps getting set
that's the only
aside,
civil infraction.
I have numerous, I have lots of stuff.
Hold on, that's the only civil infraction I see with your name on it. So I'm just confirming that we're talking about that charge.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So do you know why the default was entered? Did you miss a deadline? Did you
I was notified. I was called by people that I know within Huron and the police chief stating that I had a missed appearance date. I never had an appearance date scheduled, but I went back looking at the citation. There was no date. And actually how fast it got issued raises real concerns.
A copy of the ticket, because I've got because my copy of your ticket says contact court for appearance date.
It says contact court for appearance date where it says appearance date on or before. There's nothing.
Okay, but it says contact court for appearance date. That means the monkey's yours. If you just answer the question I asked, I'm going to give you plenty of chance to give me any argument you want to give. Okay, so don't feel that you have to force your argument into every question I ask. The question was, did you contact the court?
Well, Your Honor, I would have contacted the court if I had a specified.
That's a yes or no. So I'm going to take that as a no. You didn't contact the court. So after 14 days on a civil infraction, if we don't hear from the defendant, we enter default.
It was less than that, actually, when I was defaulted, Your Honor.
Less than that from what?
From whatever this was issued. And like I said, I was contacting
Well, once again, I'm going to draw your attention to the ticket. My ticket, which I think is the same one you got, is dated February 3rd.
Correct.
Okay, so that's when it was issued, February 3rd.
Correct.
So when was the default? When did you get notice of a default? Okay.
So that was even less than.
But what is that's scheduled?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Crusoe brought this up in the Honorable Judge Martin. She did set aside the default in the civil infraction, irregardless of whether or not he showed up.
Which I object to the setting
Sir,
aside.
do not interrupt the lady. Did she interrupt you? No. Then don't do that. Let's be civil. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge Green, Mr. Crusoe did bring it up again with the Honorable Judge Green, and she declined or denied his motion based on the fact that it was moot because the Judge Martin set it aside.
So the default's already been set aside?
Yes.
Brother, why'd you just waste 5 minutes of my life?
Since March 14th, Your Honor.
Which I object to that because they.
You object to your motion being granted?
No, I object to them setting aside my motion. I object
No. Wait. Listen. She tells me Judge Martin set aside the default based on your motion.
Yes, but I was never told any of that prior to any of that.
So you want to argue about the fact that you got what you asked for?
No, what I'm saying is the fact that the due process was violated is what happened in this whole problem. When I was defaulted, due process was violated.
So what? She set it aside.
Listen, okay, it was set aside to cause damages to me because of what happened with the default.
Well, explain to me how you were damaged.
First off, there's threats made against me, right? Clearly he's threatening me to issue warrants.
I didn't ask you about threats. I said, how were you? You said you were damaged. I'm asking you, what was the damage?
The fact that I was threatened to come in and pay money or warrants.
How was that damage?
And I was being threatened by Huron police, which I have on record.
What's the damage?
What do you mean? The fact that I had to come in and pay money, or I would have been, there'd have been issues.
What money did you pay?
Huh?
What money did you pay?
$280. I had the receipt and everything. It was all attached to my motions. They just keep trying to set it aside, and Judge Green never said a word to me about any of that.
It's been set aside. Counsel just said, Judge Martin set aside the default. So what that means is procedurally, it's like it's a brand new file. Understood?
Yeah, but that's according, yeah, but that, especially now with the new Chevron overlay, that's just saying that she's just trying to set it aside, that there's no issues.
She didn't try to set it aside, she sat it
But she
aside.
can't. She can't just set my rights aside.
She's not setting your rights aside, she set a default aside because you asked her to.
Well, so if it's set aside, then the money should be returned, correct?
Well, I don't know, did she address the money?
No, she never did. No one did. It's
Sir,
written in my motion.
Sir, I'm gonna hold you in contempt the next time you cut her off. The first contempt, $100. The second contempt, a day in jail. Are we clear on the ground rules for my courtroom? Is that a yes for the
Yes, Your
record?
Honor.
Okay. I'm giving you all the time you need to talk. Don't talk over her.
Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. There's just been a lot that's been going on with this.
And I'm the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
You're right.
All right. So we started with what motion do you want to talk about first? You said your motion to set aside the default. That was granted by Judge Martin, is what I'm hearing from the prosecutor. So that motion's done. Would you agree?
As long as my money gets returned, then I guess it's taken
At some point, trust me, your money will either get applied or returned. Next motion you want to talk about.
The dismissal based off of fundamental violations of my fundamental rights and due process.
Okay, well, tell me more.
Okay.
Do you have, hold on, let me just cut to the chase. Do you have more than just the fact that you think you have a right to travel?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually,
That's denied. I'll just cut to the chase. That's denied. I don't buy into that argument. Now, you can appeal that decision to the circuit court. You understand how that works? District court decisions you can appeal.
absolutely.
Okay, hold on. I've denied that motion. We're not going to talk about that motion because I've denied it based on your argument that you have a right to travel and don't need a license. Is there anything else you want to hang your hat on for dismissal?
Well, I do object to the setting aside of my motion, Your Honor.
I'm not setting aside your motion. I'm denying your motion.
Well, denying. I object to the
You
denying.
can't
of my motion.
object. You can appeal.
Well, I'm just letting you know I'm staying for the record. Well, honest, Your Honor, like I said, I even have lawsuits.
How would you suing the township work as a reason to dismiss these charges?
Because the initial traffic stop and everything was an unlawful stop from the get. I was
Okay, but that's got
retaliating.
nothing to do with your lawsuit. That might be the basis of your lawsuit. So you want to talk about whether or not there was a valid reason for a
Yeah,
stop?
absolutely.
Then make the argument.
Your Honor, so prior to me being pulled over by this officer, I was actually in contact with several law enforcement officers that are friends, and actually two that are currently working within Huron that had confirmed I had every lawful right to be doing what I was doing. The one even pulled up to me and my wife at a gas station in town, and we are in Sibley and Middlebelt, right near actually to where I got pulled over. And we had discussed it and talked about it, went on about our day, and this was all prior to this incident. I had two other interactions with this officer where I had specifically told him, I've already been confirmed and doing lawful, I'm well within my lawful rights. I have it documented. You need to go talk to the sergeant that I've been talking to and a couple other buddies, right? I gave him that opportunity. It was shortly after that. And I had that confirmation well prior to me even being pulled over. Okay. So then, this officer seen me leaving my house, pulling off my dead end dirt road, proceeded. And like I said, I even told him, I've already had this, I've already used this. You need to go talk to the sergeant.
Right.
Chose not to. Pulled me over, walked up, just started demanding ID and everything for me. He wouldn't identify himself, none of that good stuff. And then now this is where it's all led to. And I informed him, I have body cams, I have my own recording. And like I said, I have a lot.
Okay, but you started out by saying you wanted this dismissed because there was not probable cause for the stop.
Correct.
Okay. And then you went on to tell me how there was obviously a difference of opinion within the department about whether or not what you were doing was legal or not.
Well,
Is that a fair summation?
What was that?
Is that a fair summation of what you just said? Some of the officers that you talked to said you could do that, and obviously the officer who wrote you the ticket didn't think you could.
Correct.
Okay, so that's a difference of opinion there, which has very little, if anything, to do with the probable cause for the stop. So I'm going to let the prosecutor explain her position on probable cause.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Defendant is requesting this court dismiss the case because of the accusation that operating an ORV on the roadway constitutes a blatant violation of his First Amendment rights and an improper attempt to regulate his constitutional rights. in his most recent motion, he does accurately cite Terry versus Ohio as controlling. This was plainly a Terry stop.
Well, hold on. His argument is there was no reason for the stop.
He does cite Terry versus Ohio in his newest motion.
Okay.
Because people submit that the investigatory stop exception in Terry versus Ohio controls the validity of the traffic stop. An officer may stop and briefly detain a person on the basis of reasonable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot. Defendant claims that he was stopped without legal justification. Rather, defendant was stopped for operating an ORV on the roadway in violation of MCL 324.81122 as adopted by Huron Township ordinance. Pursuant to the United States v. Ferguson, so long as the officer has probable cause to believe that a traffic violation has occurred or was occurring, the resulting stop is not unlawful and does not violate the Fourth Amendment. On authority of state law and township ordinance, a person shall not operate an ORV which is not registered upon a public highway, street, or right of way. On the date and time of the offense, the defendant operated an ORV which was not registered, specifically an ATV on Middlebelt Road, a public highway in Huron Township. Additionally, during the course of the investigatory stop, the defendant failed to provide a valid driver's license and failed to immediately disclose that he was a valid CPL holder and carrying a firearm, which is why he was cited.
All right.
Which I object to the.
Hold on. All right, so the one misdemeanor is operate the ORV on the roadway, and the other one is fail to display a valid license. Okay, all right. So that's her response to your argument. They didn't have probable cause. What's your reply to her response?
Well, I object to her terms of operate. There's no evidence that I was operating anything.
Okay, let me stop you. I killed that when I said the whole traveling thing doesn't go anywhere with me. Operating and traveling, as you define operating, or as you define traveling, we define it operating. So hold on, I've already ruled on that issue. You can appeal that decision to the circuit court. We're not going to plow that field again. So now we're talking about probable cause. What I just heard was the township has an ordinance that says nobody can operate an ORV on a roadway. Would you agree that's an ordinance in the township?
Your Honor, I may agree.
Yes or no? Mr.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, stop. If that's a valid argument or ordinance, and when I say valid, I don't mean if it's constitutional, if it's, stood the test of a challenge. I mean, if it's on the books, all right? If it's a valid ordinance and the officer sees you doing what that ordinance says you can't do, and he pulls you over, that's plenty of probable cause for the stop. So your motion to dismiss for lack of probable cause is also denied. Do you need me to clarify that ruling for your appeal reasons?
Yes, actually, because Your Honor, I object to
what
the fact
do you
that
not
it's calling it an ORV.
Sir, your objections mean shit to me. Okay, I don't care what you're objecting to. I don't expect people to like every decision I make. That's why there's an appellate process. So you keep saying I object. I don't care. All right, it's not helpful for today's process. My decision to deny your motion to dismiss based on lack of probable cause is because there was probable cause, because there was a clear ordinance on the books that the officer thought you were violating. That gives the officer a reason to stop you. Do you have any other reason?
Definition of what is happening.
Okay. That's for you to testify, maybe me to see some photographs, maybe the officer to testify, and then I'll decide whether or not it meets the definitions of the statutes. Would you agree with me? Because that seems like a triable issue.
I suppose, yes.
Okay, well, this isn't the trial.
Well, I understand.
I don't think it's scheduled for trial. Right, this is just motion. All right. Any other issues that you want to hang your hat on as why it should be dismissed? It being these files.
Like I said, from the beginning, it's like the officer had already been notified 2 times.
Opinion, obviously.
Which I have the evidence and I have witnesses going on.
Or he had a difference of opinion about whether or not you were driving an ORV.
Or just didn't understand the laws.
That could be too. That could be too. But guess who gets to make those decisions? At trial.
Well, honestly, at a trial, I'd request a jury trial, which is guaranteed.
Well, you can't get a jury trial on the civil infraction, but you can certainly get a jury trial on the misdemeanors.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have anything else to be discussed today on motion day?
Well, yeah, as far as the disclosed CPL, like I said, I have, again, stating I have the body cams and I have my own recording.
But sir, stop. That's going to be an issue at your formal hearing, whether or not I'm going to hear from you, I'm going to hear from you. But today's motion date.
Oh, no, that's fine. I will.
File your.
I'm going to. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Now, the 200, let's get back to the $280. We'll talk about a jury trial date. Are you going to represent yourself at a jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck. All right. From this standpoint, I'm not taking school game.
I understand, Your Honor.
You don't.
Oh,
You might say that. You don't understand the rules.
I do.
Okay. How many jury trials have you had?
no, but I have all the evidence.
How many jury, if you don't know what you're up against, and you don't, I'm going to suggest to you that procedural rules, because once again, you understand that? All right. Now, and I'm not trying to talk you out of a jury trial. Believe it or not, I'm trying to save you from yourself right now. If you want to have a bench trial, I will be much more lenient with you not knowing what you're doing procedurally, because then it's just our time. But when it's a jury in here, I'm going to run the most efficient jury trial I can, and that means I'm going to treat you like you're an experienced lawyer and know all the rules.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So if you decide, number one, that you don't want a jury trial, you want to do a bench trial, let me know long in advance of that date so we can save it for somebody else. Or two, if you want the assistance of an attorney, I will give you the ability to talk to one of our court-appointed attorneys and see if they can assist you in the manner you want to be assisted.
Okay.
Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions?
Nope.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
On January 17, 2023, officers pulled over a man suspected of identity theft.
Hey,
How's it
you were
going?
going by me. I didn't know you were pulling me over. That's
No, we're trying to talk to you. So how's it going?
good. What's the matter? Calling you?
Well, we got a call from the Chase Bank about you in there trying to withdraw money from an account that's not yours.
No, I was with my friend that was in the parking lot as well. That they tried to withdraw money, but I was with them.
So where's your friend now?
In the parking lot of Chase, trying to get money. I guess they were trying to take money out.
Hey, let's
And I
get
was-
another unit to the Chase Bank. Supposedly the subject is still there.
Yeah,
And this one saying that that's his friend.
It wasn't me.
According to this guy, there's going to be a red Honda involved. That was the second party driving out of the vehicle.
I know him from Full Sail. I went to Full Sail with him.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen him in a while, and he wanted to buy a PlayStation that PlayStation 5 that I was selling because I have two of them.
Oh,
And I
gotcha.
was waiting and waiting. I said I want to do it at a public place. And when I was at the public place, he was taking too long, and then I pulled out and left.
Okay. Well, we'll get this straightened out, all right?
That's fine. Go right ahead.
Why not? Touch.
Can you roll this window down too?
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible.
I don't think it's going to end well for you. I tried to save you from that the first day you were here when I tried to convince you to have some conversation with a court-appointed attorney, and you didn't want to do all that. I know in my heart of hearts, I have no ill feeling towards you whatsoever. And I'm going to give you the best trial I determine are not relevant because that's my job as the gatekeeper after the judge over the trial. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. All right. So, Mr. Crucell, you filed a number of motions. I'm going to let you pick which one you want to deal with first.
Well, this emergency motion stay.
Okay, just hold off with the argument. Hold off with the argument. The question was, what do you want to start with? Okay, so you filed something Friday. I took a quick look at it today. Is that any different than the motion to stay that you filed previously?
This is just bringing the fact that all the motions I have filed.
Is that a yes or no, Mr. Crucell?
It's covering all the motions I.
Okay, listen to my question. Is it any different than the last motion to stay proceedings you filed? Okay, just give me what you've added since the last one, because this one I haven't had a chance to read fully. The first one I read fully.
I just have the same straight face on you, didn't give a shit about what I had to say.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Cazell, this is going to be a very long day for you if you don't listen to my questions and answer my questions. That was in the original motion to stay proceedings. I've asked you to give me whatever's new in this motion.
New stuff covers just Gene Green telling me to sue the Secretary of State rather than addressing the due process violations in my case.
Okay, stop right there. How does that lead to why this should be stopped today?
All of this is stemming from where all of this should have been stopped a while ago.
That's not the way it works. Mr. Cazell, hold on. Okay. That's the last time you're going to interrupt me today without a contempt of court charge. Is that clear?
Your Honor.
Is that clear?
Constitution against me this entire time. No one has made her answer that.
One more word, and it's contempt of court. It's $100 a contempt, and if I get totally fed up with it, then I'm putting you in jail. Okay? Just because she and I happen to agree on the law as it applies to your case doesn't mean we're in collusion. It's possible that you're wrong. At least accept the possibility that she and I have the same opinion about something. That doesn't mean we're colluding. You understand that concept? Do you understand that concept?
You're supposed to be impartial.
I am impartial. I've been trying to save you. Just because I agree with the prosecutor doesn't mean I'm against you. It just means I agree with the prosecutor.
So it means if you're agreeing with that, definitely means you guys are lying against us.
So that means in any case, when I buy the arguments from one side, that means I'm colluding against the other.
You're agreeing.
Yes or no, Mr. Crucell? No, you have to answer my question. Contempt number one, $100. Answer my question. Every time I rule in favor of one side, does that mean I'm colluding against the other? Yes or no? $200. Yes or no? Because I can do this all damn day. And when I get tired of this game, then I tell them to put you in custody because it's contempt of court, criminal contempt in my view.
Yes.
It is. All right. So now, any argument you make from there, I'm going to deny because that's an unreasonable position you're taking. Judges, by definition, have to decide in favor of one party or the other. That's what we do.
When you made that statement, you were making.
What statement is that?
It was.
I thought we were talking about Judge Green's SOS statement.
When you made the statement that you were setting aside my regular trial, saying that you're saying that the prosecutor, the township, and his court all see things the same way, setting it outside, not even allowing me to make my argument. So you were aligning yourself with the prosecution on the argument of my point and setting it aside on what you were doing.
Mr. Crucell, what I was doing was aligning myself with the law as I see it and interpret it. Stop. You can't just shake your head. You don't just disagree with me and move on. If you don't like a ruling from a judge, you have to appeal that ruling. You don't keep arguing with the ruling. That's not the way the process works. Listen, brother, listen. I have tried to save you from yourself. If you remember the first time you were in my courtroom, I tried to get you to see things the way the process was going to move forward. Because, dude, this process is going forward the way I want it to move forward. You might not like that, but I'm in charge of the courtroom. And at the end of the day, if you don't like anything I do, you can appeal me. That's why they have circuit courts. But I'm not going to let you make this a dog and pony show, especially when we've got jurors here.
Dog and pony show. This court has failed to let me make any of my statements, any of my cases. You even were trying to threaten me with contempt anytime I tried.
I am threatening you with contempt.
My objections on the record to make my case.
No, because third contempt. Do not interrupt me.
The AI Toolkit is live on Artlist. Every leading AI tool you need for video creation is now organized.
Interrupt me. When I said your objections don't mean shit to me is because you were using the word objection inappropriately. You objected every time I disagreed with you. If you have an objection, you have to have a legal basis for the objection. For example, she's trying to put a video into evidence and you say, I object, Judge. She hasn't laid a proper foundation because all she said is, Judge, I've got a video. I'd like to play it for the jury. That's a proper legal objection. When I rule in her favor and you say I object and I say, what's your objection? And you just disagree with me, That's not a legal objection. That's why I said your objections mean shit to me, because you're not using the word appropriately. Because you don't know what you're doing. That's what I tried to tell you originally the first time you were here. You've never been to law school. You've never tried a case. You don't know the rules of evidence and all the other things that have to be in play to have a trial go forward appropriately and properly, and, to be perfectly honest, in your best interest.
Your Honor, again, you're trying to spin this here.
I'm not spinning.
Based on you not allowing me to do it. And that's what you told me when
Okay. All right. So let's do it this way. What motion would you like to address first? The motion to postpone? Denied. I'm not denying the jury trial.
Especially with the jurisdiction, she's never once admitted on the why it's on the prosecutor to prove those things. There's all sorts of irregularities.
All right. Let me stop you for a minute. What do you mean you're not going to proceed? You're here.
Everything is taking place now shows exactly that there is enough to show. You're supposed you need to keep sure.
Once again, you're not answering the question I asked. You just said you will not participate, and I asked, what do you mean by that?
Fair.
I'm not asking you to explain your reasoning. I want to know, what does that mean? I'm not going to proceed with this. You're here. So when I impanel the jury, what? You're just going to sit there and not going to talk? What does it mean when you say you're not going to participate?
And go through until these things get addressed. All of my issues that have been ignored this entire time, especially excluding people.
Once again, if you accept the motion and I deny it, it's been addressed. You might not like the way it's been addressed, but then you have to appeal it.
That's the point of me getting all my objections.
All right, what's your objection? What's your objection to me denying your motion to postpone this trial at the last minute?
I'd like to put on the record that whatever you would like to do from there, you can, because I'm open until these things. Like I say,
hold on. Is this statement preceding all these motions you filed? Okay, then let me make my ruling on all of them. I think there's a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction, correct? Okay. Would you like to respond to that one? Because I think that's already been addressed.
Please arrested Mr. Crusoe while he was in Huron Township, but if our district court has jurisdiction over offenses that occur within the township, both civil and criminal, this is criminal and
Did you appeal Judge Green's decision on that motion?
I'm prosecuting because I've been in contact with the appeals.
Okay, so there's no appeal filed yet, correct? I'll take that as a yes. There's no appeal filed. That motion is denied then. She made the ruling. You don't get to ask me to make the same ruling. Once again, don't interrupt me because I can go to 4 real quick. Judge Green, a judge in this court, ruled on that exact motion and denied your motion. That motion has not yet been appealed, and it certainly doesn't get appealed to me. Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Next motion. Motion to...
The judge can't just come in here and say that there's...
Yes, the judge can. Listen to me. Then appeal her to circuit court. A judge made a ruling. You don't get to keep arguing that same motion.
All she said was that Judge Martin was sending aside and that I should